Hello, good morning. अरे कुआडे रे शीत दिन सोई पड़ल कि रे सब विंटर मॉर्निंग घोड़े गाड़े की सोईते मस्त एकदम है ना. विंटर का मजा ही अलग है, isn't it? Yes. अरे भाई विंटर तो विंटर है, बट से विंटर सांगरे पढ़ापढ़ी भी तो करिया पड़िबो. पीपीटा चैट बॉक्स रे शेयर करंतु. अच्छा, ओके ओके. यस सर, चलो बढ़िया है. See, the sharing is not possible with the chat box because it is too big a file. First thing. Second thing is it is against our no rules. You can get the reading files through archives. ठीक है. तो our DHSC has portals. तो say portals through you can get those. ठीक है ना. But empty commonly we cannot share it in the chat box because that would make it common. So it's not possible. Fine, no problem in that. But I would just simply, and I'm again telling, see, you people are first year students, 11th, and now you have crossed the first hurdle of your life, that is 10th. Now you are college, beginners. But the thing is, a summer sabuta bada advantage hala energy levels. You people must be blooming with energy. ठीक ଅଛି? Lot of energy. And that energy has to be channelized in the proper manner. The same energy to control कर दो, proper direction and channel कर दो ना, you can make great things with your life. And this is one simple effort to actually achieve so. So it's very, very important that you people become highly sincere, attend classes, do not miss them, because these efforts are only for your purpose. ବୁଝିପାରୁଛ? ତ ତମମାନଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ କରାଯାଉଛି for you people. My name is Tapan Kumar Nayak. ठीक है? And I have been teaching in DHSC for the last 3 years. This is my 3rd year. ठीक है? And I don't like to speak about myself, but it's fine. No issues. You all are good students. You all are achievers. Sadar Riju ko eta koibo that you all are achievers. Okay? And you all can do great things in life. Only thing is you need to become very focused, very consistent, and attentive. Okay? And anything is possible. Anything you can achieve. Right? Okay? Let's begin then. How? Today's topic for us is Arthropoda. Now, as the name suggests, Arthro mane hela basically joints. Joints. In the amaro joints achi. Suni thibo. Eri kanto pakere joint, ball and socket joint, hinge joint, pivot joint, gliding and sliding joints, saddle joints. These are various kinds of joints in your body. Amo mano body that help us in moving. Same thing. In case of the arthropods or in case of the insects, etc., semanangor madhya a feature ti achi. That's the reason why we call them arthropods. Arthros implies jointed, podos implies legs. So arthropodum apoda madhe jointed legs. So jehetu emanangor joints achi that helps them in movement, ame taku koithau arthropoda. Are bujhiyela? Is that clear, people? चलो बढ़िया है. Yes, podos माने foot. Yes, absolutely. See, that's what I'm telling. You people are very smart people, very intelligent people. देखा, फटाफट पकड़ लेते हो. Awesome. Okay, keep this same enthusiasm. ये enthusiasm रखिले, आपकी growth will be unlimited, exponential एक तरह के. है ना? चलो बढ़िया है. So we understood the meaning of arthropoda. That is the animals with jointed legs. Now, let us look at the salient features or general features of the arthropoda. Now, before I tell you about the general features, we go through them. One thing you need to remember, the arthropoda is the most diversified group, most diversified phylum of the entire animal kingdom, and also it is the largest phylum of the entire animal kingdom. Monarchium. Most diverse and the largest phylum of the entire animal kingdom. Emane, wherever you look, air में देखो, soil में देखो, water में देखो, anywhere. In fact, in तम घरे देखो, हैला, तुमको माछी, मशा, cockroach सब मिलेंगे. ये सब arthropoda को belong करते हैं. So that means what? The entire earth has, entirely in each and every part of this world, you'll find insects. ठीक है, और arthropoda. Okay, insect is a part of arthropoda. Khali insect not the arthropoda. Many other classes are there. We'll go into them one by one. How? Yes, 2/3 of all animal groups. Absolutely, dear. Shabash. Okay. See, Gayatri ji, I am very, very happy with your enthusiasm. Okay, fine. And keep this enthusiasm. It will be very, very helpful for your progress. Very helpful. Chalo, badhiya. Now, if you look at the various salient features of the arthropoda, look at this. Here you'll find the apis. Apis is honeybee. Here you'll find the dragonfly, millipedes. Okay? Here you'll find the centipedes, the arachnids, the crustaceans, that is the palimon. Okay? The nereis, the centipedes. Then you'll have the crabs. They are all members of the arthropoda. Okay, so you can find diversified forms. And ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ତାଙ୍କୁ classify କରିବାକୁ ଯିବା on the basis of their properties. Let's look at their properties. देखो, as you can see, they have an organ system level of organization. Organ system level of organization. ठीक है? When you see organ system level of organization, it implies that their entire body is having several systems in their body. That is, they have a proper digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system, excretory system, reproductive system, nervous system. All forms of systems jemti amar achi, inka bhi developed hai. That's why you call them organ system level of organization. Our organ levels of organization we have already seen previous classes, right? Cellular grade organization, tissue grade organization, organ grade organization, organ system grade of organization. Okay, that means the entire body has various organ systems present in it to perform all the functions. Okay, now if you look at the symmetry, they will display bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry, as you can see, the entire body is divisible into two equal halves along one plane only. One plane only. ठीक है, गोटिए प्लेन नहीं हमें डिवाइड कर परिबा the entire organism into two equal halves. Therefore, we say them bilateral symmetry or bilaterally symmetrical. Fine. And this indicates two important things. Two important things. Corner. Good take. Complexity. Since these organisms have a complex organization, therefore they become bilateral symmetry. Second, they show cephalization. Now, cephalization kaun jani thi wo? That is the process of forming the head. The process of forming a well-developed head. Munda. The formation को cephalization कहा जाता है. ठीक है? And once head is formed, that means you have the mouth, you have the eyes, you have the tentacles, etc. It form gala. So therefore, duity yakura distribution is only bilateral symmetry is possible. And a gotte half re odha roibo, out half re odha roibo. Got the point? Okay. So bilateral symmetry always indicates complexity of organization and cephalization. ठीक है, याद रखना इसको. Okay. Then come to the next thing. Now, we already have seen the forms of germ layers. Yes, starting from a body already the animal kingdom. We have studied the various germ layers, and because of it, the origin, we have classified it into different types. Since there are three germ layers present in it, tinoti germ layers achanti, outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm, and inner endoderm. Three layers, as you can see. There are three layers, as you can see. The outer ectoderm, okay, the inner mesoderm, and outer ectoderm, the middle mesoderm, and the inner endoderm. Three layers you can observe. Fine. Now these are three embryonic germ layers. When the embryonic development is occurring, the formation of various organs and structures originate. So here you can clearly observe ecto, meso, and endoderms. Fine. Okay. Now, as you can clearly see, these are triploblastic in origin. Triplo mane tinoti, three. Three germ layers participate in this process of formation of this organism. Therefore, taku ame triploblastic koichu. Now, a triploblastic टी कोठु आरंभ होइगला platyhelminths रो आरंभ होइगला. Platyhelminths रो पूर्वरु, they are either diploblastic or have a cellular grade organization. Jemti, for example, porifera. Porifera does not have any ecto, meso, or endoderm. Taro nahi. Why? Because only cells are present. So they show cellular grade organization. But tapare nidarians and ctenophora, emananko asigala, tissue level. So emane diploblastic. Tapare asila tomara platyhelminths, ash helminths. So from platyhelminths onwards, हमें देखिले triploblastic form of organization. ठीक है ना? याद रखना इसको. So तापरटू जेतिक organisms अछंती दुनिया रे, all become triploblastic. All become triploblastic. Remember this. A general features रे बाबू बहुत questions पचरा जाता है. There are many questions which are related to this. Simple features, general features. Seiti by general features over a primary focus rakho. Tamamananko pakhare already NCERT textbook thibo because NEET re NCERT NTA prescription is completely NCERT. Then CBSE syllabus is NCERT. Even CHSE syllabus is also NCERT. So by NCERT bohi thibo tum pakhare textbook, yes. Sehi tere when you look at animal kingdom, जो features गुड़िको देइची under whichever phylum is given, please go through it diligently and sincerely पढ़िबो and understand it. This class will help you in doing that. From here, you can understand जो doubts गुड़िको अच्छी, you can clear. ठीक है? So therefore, focus on that. जितेବେଳେ भी class attend କରୁଛ, NCERT ବହି ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ରଖିଥାଅ, ତାକୁ ଭଲ ଭାବରେ ଦେଖ, and while we run through the class, open your NCERT textbook also and go through it. So it will help you in two ways. କାହିଁକି ବେଳେ ବେଳେ କ'ଣ ହେଇଥାଏ, NCERT ରେ କିଛିଟା lines ଏମିତି ଲେଖା ହେଇଥାଏ which is very difficult to understand or may have alternate meanings. So when you simultaneously look at the display here and read it or go through your textbooks, so both combined together, it will give you more productive effect. Plus clarity ଆସିବ and your conceptual hold will become stronger. Fine. ठीक है, देखो. Now, then comes Phylum. You know Phylum माने कौन? Phylum implies the cavity formed because of the splitting of the mesoderm. Mesoderm टी जितना split हैला, से गोटे outer layer form कला, outer inner layer form कला. Now between the two layers, you'll have a cavity, a space, and this cavity or space is filled with fluid. We call that fluid coelomic fluid, by interstitial fluid, by tissue fluid. Okay, understood? So, age of body fluid rahila, that helps in so many activities. Jemti circulation, especially jitra me agu padiba, that these category of organisms are having open circulatory system. Now, jehetu open circulatory system achi ankara, to ankara sabu jaka body ro organs, they are immersed in the body fluid. So body fluid literally budi ki thanti. Charikode body fluid achi. Jemti gote chotto udharan douchi, try and understand. Amara closed circulatory system achi. Okay, so closed circulatory system re, we have proper channels or paths. So amar jo body fluid, that is blood. Major circulatory fluid is the blood. So blood only travels in proper channels, by arteries, veins, capillaries. Same the lymph channels, that is lymph capillaries, lymph vessels, travel करता है. तामने हमें suppose कोनोसी गोटे tissue बा muscle sample नबा, तो हमको blood दिसिबनी. Why? Because blood is not present everywhere. It is only present in those channels. Joti amara konosi capillary ba vein ba artery koti gala ba damage hela, tahale hi setru blood baharibo and disibo. Got the point? But MRO case re, you'll find the tissue fluid everywhere because they do not have proper capillaries or channels for the passage. Which parajinsada? How? Sethipai anko case re, Phylum is a very important component. Fine. Jehetu, as you can see in the figure, the mesoderm is split into two layers, outer mesoderm and inner mesoderm. देखो एटी, एटा हला तमरा outer ectoderm. ठीक अछि? Now mesoderm is split हे गला. एटा outer mesoderm. This is the outer mesoderm. And this is the inner mesoderm. Mojire, you can see the white region, that is the phylum. Okay. Now, the two mesoderms are connected by a small isthmus. Simple channel koi pariba. This is known as mesentery. Now एटा बहुत important जिनसटी. This is very important, very important. Why is it important? देखो ए केस रे मेसेंट्री रो कामो हैला, मेसेंट्री रो कामो हैला जो ब्लड वेसल्स कथा हमें कहूचे बा आमे नर्व्स कथा कहूचे से गुडी को एई बाटे देखी आसी थांती. So the various parts are connected or supplied by these blood vessels etc. and emanate को बाटे आसिले ठीक अछि. They travel through the mesentery. So mesentery basically is a structure that helps to provide a proper path for the infiltration of blood vessels, nerves, and other forms of channels. So outer को inner संगे connect करिया पाई. This is a very very important structure. एटी जेहेतु splitting is proper आमे आगु कहिले यूसिलोमेट, ट्रूसिलोम बा यूसिलोम, ट्रूसिलोम बा यूसिलोम. सिलोम बहु प्रकार अछि ऑलरेडी जानि थिबो. यस यस जो मानक सिलोम नाही देयर आर सिलोमेट्स और जो मानक improperly formed अछि like in case of ash elements or nemadelmins सेवानो कहता है हमें pseudosilomates and जो मानकर properly developed silom अछि से मानक कहले हमें eusilomates. Now ए eusilomate रो मध्य various categories अछि बुझिला जेंति सीजोसिलोम हे गला, एंट्रोसिलोम हे गला, हीमोसिलोम हे गला. Various kinds of silom are there. Okay, we'll come to those points one by one. प्रथमे basic जिंस गुडी को clarify करो and properly bucho. Okay, I think silom is clear now. Okay, now then comes the habitat. Habitat, as I have already mentioned in the beginning, that arthropods and Gayatri also said the arthropods are the most diverse and the largest phylum of the entire animal kingdom. Tamane तांकर occupancy over the entire earth madhya adhiko. Yes, they cover almost 65 to 70% of the entire population. ठीक है, to be very sure 2/3 मतलब 67% होता है approximately 66.66 so on. So approximately 67% of the entire population and almost 75% of the entire land mass when entire earth is populated by them. Hence हमें ताकू कौन कहले cosmopolitan, found everywhere in the world, everywhere in the world. Let that be soil, let that be water, let that be air, let that be your body even, parasites का form है. ठीक है, तो ये सबका होता है. ठीक है, everywhere. Next comes the type of digestive system. Systems को आसिवा. As you can see, एमानंकर digestive system is complete. Complete काहे की कुहा गला. Remember this. Complete एथिपाई कुहा गला because they have an anterior opening and a posterior opening. Anterior opening मध्य अछि, posterior opening madhya achi. So it starts with the mouth, ends with the anus, and ता मझिरे various other structures are there. ठीक है, as you can see, the entire digestive system is clearly divisible into these parts. एटा है गला तुम्हारा foregut. ठीक है, ये हो गई आपकी midgut. And एटा है गला तुम्हारा hindgut. Foregut, midgut, hindgut. Now foregut की mouth रू नहीं की stomach region पर्यंत. ठीक है, stomach अंक तो not thigh, but we call them, say, a crop is present. Okay. So you'll have mouth, you'll have esophagus, you'll have the crop. Okay. Then you'll have the hepatic CK, then you'll have the intestinal section, and finally you'll have the last part, that is the rectum section. That is the hindgut part. ठीक ଅଛି? And rectum the कोटी terminate कला ना anus रे terminate कला. बुझ So therefore, complete digestive system is present in their body. Remember this. As you can see, this is an example of the apis. Okay. So honeybee. So you can clearly observe A to Arambala mouth section. It went and finished in the anus section. Okay. So complete alimentary canal by gastrointestinal tract is present. Okay. GIT, gastrointestinal tract. आपको तमे आउ कोन कहि परिबो रे एलिमेंटरी कैनाल मध्य कहि परिबो. Okay, fine. So this is why we call it complete digestive system or complete form of GIT by alimentary canal. This is one proof that they are complex organisms. Okay. And diversified food habits madhya roila. Then comes the respiratory system. Now, as you already know, respiratory system mane hela the system of the body which helps in gaseous exchange. Kahin respiration jeta define kocho dui prakar no respiration you can commonly see. One is an external respiration, the other is an internal cellular respiration. Bujhpalo. Now, when we say external respiration, it is basically physiochemical or physiological mechanism. Joti, tomorrow konasi prakar chemical reaction is not involved or chemical changes are not involved. It's simply the exchange between the external environment and the internal environment. Mane, ame air nobba from the atmosphere, and then after the process is completed, the rest of the material unused by waste products ame bahar ko chhad daba again into the atmosphere. So ei jo exchange ti hochi, this is your external respiration. Okay. Whereas cellular respiration kono breakdown of the respiratory substrates like carbohydrates, proteins, fats. ठीक अछि एमानकु आमे भांगिबा using molecular oxygen and then produce energy out of it. The rest जो waste product baharla, that is CO2 etc. will be given out. जेहेतु एटा cell भितर होची and it is basically a biochemical mechanism where lots and lots of reactions occur. ठीक अछि जेमति for example cellular respiration is पढिबो सेतर कोन देखिबो प्रथमे ग्लाइकोलाइसिस देखिबो ठीक अछि तापरे लिंक रिएक्शन देखिबो तापरे क्रेब्स साइकिल देखिबो तापरे ETS देखिबो एई सबु जिंस कंबाइन कला परे जाय कि हमको approximately 38 ATP मिली थाए. बुझ पालो पॉइंट. So these are chemical reactions or biochemical reactions. एतरे बहुत गुडी को enzymes involved अछंदी and बहुत गुडी को pathways involved अछंदी. Understood? Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yes. ठीक अछि. Absolutely correct, Gayatri. Cellular respiration and external respiration. Awesome. Now, so in case of the respiratory system, ame ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ଜାଣିବା ଉଚିତ ମଧ୍ୟ, that is specific to that of the insects or the arthropods. କ'ଣ? ଏମାନଙ୍କର direct mode of respiration. Direct mode of respiration. This is very important. जोटा मु कहिबी very important रे बाबू, please mark that out. ठीक है? क्यों? Because एई जिंसटी तमरो NEET exam रे already पढ़िची a concept of a base questions already podichi. So we need to understand these concepts clearly. Okay. Now, what do you mean by direct mode of respiration? Eti mark karo gote jinso. Jettebale ame a gaseous exchange korche. When we are doing the gaseous exchange, the gaseous exchange can be done in two ways. One, it is taken from the atmosphere or the environment and directly reaches the tissues and cells through any channel or anything. Fine, not directly. So the internal tissues exchange with the external environment and vice versa. This is known as direct mode of respiration. What is indirect then? When you have an interface, that is exchange hela gotiye jagare, that is primary exchange. For example, we show pulmonary mode of respiration. Mane, prathame ame nishwasti nelle. In the lungs, the alveoli, the alveoli perform the exchange between the environment and that of the body. ठीक अछि. So एठी exchange हला हमें oxygen नेले alveoli बाटे गला कोठी गला ना blood को गला. ठीक अछि. Blood भितरे you have the respiratory pigment, that is hemoglobin. किछिटा hemoglobin संगे add ହେଇକି ଯିବ, किछिटा dissolved form रे ଯିବ, and then blood will carry the oxygen to the tissues. बुझिपारलो. तापरे सेठी कोन हबो? सेल्स माने रेस्पायर करिवे. सेल्स माननको भितरु बाहरिबो CO2. से CO2 टी मध्य हिमोग्लोबिन संगे ऐड हबो बा किछि मात्रा डिसॉल्व फॉर्म रे ब्लड रे पुणी आसीबो कोठी की alveoli पाखु. And in the alveoli the exchange will occur. So exchange is occurring at two levels. One is at the organ, that is the आपकी pulmonary, and the other is at the tissues. But in case of them, there is only one interface, and that is the tissues. There is no carrier, there is no respiratory pigment, hence it is referred to as a direct mode of respiration. कौन पाई? Exchange occurs at the tissue level only. No respiratory pigment is present. Age inserti mone rakhiba. Clear? Okay. So, emanଙ୍କର respiratory organs achi. It's not that the respiratory organs are not present. Respiratory organs and respiratory system is present, well developed. But the mechanism does not involve any carrier system. So therefore, it is basically a direct mode of respiration. याद रखिएगा इसको. ठीक है. Now, what are the various organs or structures involved in the respiratory mechanism? ध्यान दो इधर. You have the gills, you have the book gills, you have the trachea and spiracles, and you'll have the book lungs. Okay. So all these are various structures involved in the respiratory pathways or respiratory mechanism of our arthropods. Okay. मानने नुहे कि गोटिए आर्थ्रोपोड रे सबो जिंस देखा जीवो, but entire phylum Arthropoda रे various organisms may show different structures, but commonly A structures गुड़िका थांती in these organisms. जेमती for example, आमे तो normal insects, terrestrial insects कथा कहूचे, जो माने soil रे रही थांती, terrestrial, okay, land. So they basically use the spiracles and trachea or sometimes book lungs, as you can see in case of the limulus crab. ठीक है. इन केस ऑफ लिमुलस क्रैब ये एक्वेटिक है, जेहेतु एक्वेटिक तो आर रेस्पिरेटरी मैकेनिज्म इन्वॉल्व्स बुक गिल्स। इन एक्वेटिक इंसेक्ट्स जो माने पानी रे रही थांती सेमानकर केस थिबो ओनली गिल्स बा ब्रैंकियल रेस्पिरेशन। So terrestrial mode रे you'll have the book lungs and the trachea involved normally. ठीक है, book lungs are normally seen कोमानो केस रे in case of scorpions, in case of arachnids like spiders, एमानो केस रे book lungs देखा जाता है. Okay, like this. This is a spider, an arachnida, are a book lungs अच्छी. ठीक है. Now this is crustacean. This is basically limulus, but king crab. So R कौन अच्छी? Book gills. Fine. In case of the grasshopper, you'll find the spiracles and trachea. ठीक है? बुझ पा लो रे? In case of these, you'll have normal gills. You'll have normal gills. ये जो normal gills देखो जो तुम्हें आपको मैं कहता हूँ Tenidae, because they appear like feathers. So feathery gills मध्य कुआ जाता है. Yes, shabash. Okay, fine. So I hope this is clear for all. ये जो structures गुड़ी को जहां भी हमें पढ़ू छे इनको याद रखना. ठीक है. आंको भी तुरु spiracles and trachea is the most important. इसे याद रखिएगा. आपको यदि मैं डिटेल से देखिए वो केमती जाना पड़िबो. How are these? No, how do they appear? Mark करो एटी. एटा तमरो स्पाइरेकल रो बाहर सेक्शन टी, एटा तार भीतर सेक्शन टी. एम्प्टी 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 ऐसा. ठीक अछि. आदर एई भलिया काटिल नो हमरो काइटिनस रिंग्स अछि. तो एई पार्टी हे गला तमरो स्पाइरेकल रे बाबू. आकु कहले हमें ट्रैकिया, ये हला ट्रैकियोल्स. ठीक अछि. तो एई बाटे देखी थ्रू दिस पाथ the oxygen or air will go in. Air will pass through here and then travel through this. भीतर देखी जीवो एम्प्टी and एठी जाएकी directly tissues रे पसी जीवो, directly into tissues. ठीक है. So there is no carrier mechanism involved. Fine. हाँ, concept तमाने respiratory system जेतने पढ़िबो, that is human respiratory system जेतने पढ़िबो, that is breathing and gaseous exchange. सेठी दिछाटा concept तमे जानिबो. कौन ता हुआ जाइता रे बाबू? Partial pressures. ये जो exchange टी हेई थाए, that is on the basis of partial pressure. कहार partial pressure? Partial pressure of O2 and partial pressure of CO2. तो जहार पार्शियल प्रेशर अधिक थिबो तो से डिफ्यूज करिवो, जहार पार्शियल प्रेशर कम थिबो से डिफ्यूज करि परिबोनी. ठीक है. सो दुई साइड रे माने भाबिनियो बाहर पार्शियल प्रेशर हमरो ऑक्सीजन रो अधिक अछि. से जर एठी पहुंचला टिश्यू कंपैरिजन में पार्शियल प्रेशर कार अधिक अछि एटमॉस्फेयर रे ना, तो that oxygen will go into the tissues. Why? Because higher to lower have a diffusion. Similarly, respiration जेतु हेई साची तो CO2 रो partial pressure tissues मानंग केस रो अधिका. So CO2 ता tissues रो बाहरिवो and will enter into this. Why? Because again CO2 inside is having a higher partial pressure, CO2 outside is having a lower partial pressure. तो यही भली exchange तमो हे गला. But exchange रे कोनोसी carrier बा respiratory pigment रो use हेई नाही, directly atmosphere सांगरे exchange टी होची. hence direct mode of respiration. Clear, bacha? Is that clear? Yes. Good. Fine. उसके बाद देख. Once the respiratory is done, now respiratory and circulatory are actually well connected together. Although in case of the phylum Arthropoda, the respiratory and circulatory are not completely dependent, but are not independent also. Why? Because जो fluids, that is coelomic fluid বা tissue fluid রে যাই কি অক্সিজেন কসলা বা কার্বন ডাইঅক্সাইড বাহারলা, ঠিক আছে? তো এই ফ্লুইডটি সার্কুলেশনে তো সাহায্য করিবই করিব, ঠিক আছে? দ্যাট মিন্স from the various parts of the body, CO2 will be collected into the tissue fluid and then will be exchanged with the environment. Same way, oxygen will enter into the tissue fluid and reach the various organs there. Okay? So therefore, circulatory system is all no, in this case, although it is not completely interconnected with that of the respiratory, but duity manango bhitare coordination is there. Amo cases they both are well dependent. Why? Because amar oxygen tiku carry korithae blood re thiba respiratory pigment, that is hemoglobin, and CO2 is also brought back by the hemoglobin. But in this scenario, you have direct movement. Circulatory system ra kamo kebolo circulation kariba, nothing else. It only helps in circulation, that is connecting all the parts of the body together. Okay? How? Then when you look at the circulatory system, in case of the arthropoda, the circulatory system is of open type. Open type mane kon bujhilo? Blood is filled in sinuses, cavities, ठीक अछि, and all organs and organ systems are bathed or immersed body ke achhati in the tissue fluid. ठीक है? Fine. So there is no requirement of any proper channels or arteries, veins, capillaries, nahanti. Jehetu nahanti. So this is referred to as open circulatory system. ठीक है जी? अच्छा. But remember one thing, open circulatory system does not imply कि यहाँ heart नथिबो. Heart is simply a pumping organ. Its task is to pump the blood with pressure such that it can continuously move around. Blood lekhiche, but this blood is not that of the blood which we have. A blood all over inside, that blood is a different thing. Now, different thing kemiti hela? Our blood is basically rich in hemoglobin, and it has different properties. Whereas tanko case re, in case of the arthropods, etc., the blood is not red in nature. It is basically pale yellow or whitish in nature. ताकू हमें कहता हूँ hemolymph. ठीक है? Hemolymph कहता हूँ. भाई जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल घर में आपने कॉकरोच या फिर मच्छर या फिर मक्खी मारा होगा, तो यू विल हैव सीन दैट दे डू नॉट गिव आउट ब्लड. हाँ वो सर आप बोलोगे सर मच्छर के टाइम पे तो ब्लड निकल, अरे वो जो खून आपने देखा मच्छर के टाइम पे वो आपका खून है या फिर किसी जानवर का खून होगा. द मस्कीटोज डोंट हैव देयर ओन ब्लड, दे आर sanguivorous, they consume the blood in order to use those proteins to lay eggs. They don't derive nutrition from it, but they use it for producing or laying their eggs. बुझ पा लो? How? So वो उनका खून नहीं है. Remember this. So as you can see, the circulatory system in case of the arthropods, you have a heart here. ठीक है? Heart यहाँ पे मिल गया आपको. This is the heart, pumping organ. ये pump करता है. जैसे in case of cockroaches, as you can see, they have what kind of heart रे बच्चा? Tubular heart. They have a tubular heart, which is 13 chambered. अरे ध्यान दो रे बच्चा, 13 chambered. आपकी हार्ट में, मेरे हार्ट में 4 चेम्बर्स होते हैं, इनके 13 चेम्बर है. ठीक है जी. एंड देयर हार्ट इज ट्यूबुलर, मतलब ट्यूब लाइक. as you can see, ये ट्यूब्स, इंटरकनेक्टेड ट्यूब्स प्रेजेंट है. there are interconnected tubes present in them. ठीक है. तो ये आपकी इस प्रकार से ये ट्यूब है, ये और एक ट्यूब है, empty. And these tubes are functional, but they contract and relax by the help of these alary muscles. ये जो आप देख रहे हो यहाँ पे, these are all alary muscles. ठीक है. These are muscles that help in contraction and expansion of the heart. ठीक है ना. And इनकी जो mechanism है, और एक चीज याद रखना, इनकी जो हार्ट है, वो कहाँ प्रेजेंट है? जैसे हम लोग की हार्ट जो है वेंट्रल इन लोकेशन है, इनकी डॉर्सल इन लोकेशन होती है. इट इज डॉर्सल इन लोकेशन. वन थिंग. सेकेंडली, इट इज न्यूरोजेनिक. ये न्यूरोजेनिक है. न्यूरोजेनिक मीन्स कनेक्टेड टू द नर्वस सिस्टम. ठीक है. Means the brain or the central nervous system controls the heart or helps in the production of the impulse. Amokesari, it is myogenic. That is, the impulse which helps in the contraction, relaxation of the heart, that is systole and diastole, is basically produced within the heart by a structure known as Arthropoda, that is pacemaker. ठीक है. तो यही जिनसों गुड़ी को are differences between their heart and our heart. Okay. तापरे देखो, हार्ट पंप्स, देन द ब्लड ट्रेवल्स, ठीक है, थ्रू द साइनसेस एटसेट्रा, एंड देयर आर प्लेंटी ऑफ वाल्व्स इन इट दैट हेल्प इन रेगुलेटिंग द फ्लो. कोडी अधिक फ्लो दरकार, कम फ्लो दरकार, केतल अधिक दरकार, केतल कम दरकार, ये कौन कंट्रोल करता है ना? वाल्व्स कंट्रोल करते हैं. ठीक है. नाउ थ्रू दिस पंपिंग कौन ऑफ सर्कुलेट रे बाबू ना? हीमोलिम्फ. ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू दैट हीमोलिम्फ सर्कुलेट होता है. ये टिश्यू फ्लूइड, जैसे हम लोग का ब्लड है, इनके केस में वो हीमोलिम्फ कहलाता है. ठीक है. एंड ये जो साइनसेस गुडी को तमे देखु छो, दीज आर रेफर्ड टू एज हीमोसील. माने आको जो सीलोम हेता है ताको हमें ना देइछे हीमोसील. एंड हेंस ता भीतर कौन फ्लो कला ना? हीमोलिम्फ. हीमोलिम्फ माने ब्लड भलिया. lymph kai ko agala because of its no coloration. It is not red in nature. In the amora straw colored lymph thai ba whitish colored lymph thai, so seita be odyo tankor sei boliya. Okay. So directly tissues re pahunchi gala, and then tissues mananko through re jo CO2 etc baharibo, waste product baharibo, se madhya pump pe ki puni either baharu ku jibo or through other forms like excretory etc. रे no एक ना बाहर को पड़े बॉडी रो. ठीक अछि. क्लियर? ओके. इज दिस अंडरस्टूड रे बच्चा? So this is your circulatory system in case of arthropods. Fine. Now come to the next part, that is reproductive system. Reproductive system. Now arthropods, ठीक अछि, are sophisticated organisms. हमें मार्क करथिबा that animal kingdom रे दुईटी मोड ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन देखा जाते हैं. One is the sexual mode of reproduction, the other is asexual mode of reproduction. Now, as we go forward in the hierarchy, complexity jete body chalala, धीरे धीरे asexual mode bond hela and sexual mode asila. So right from the ash helminth category, how a sexual mode of reproduction nahi. ठीक अछि. Laty helminths रे मध्य asexual mode of reproduction किछि केस रे देखा जाइता है. But from ash helminths বা nemat helminths category, how a sexual mode of reproduction nahi. All organisms after that, say nemat helminths से था, annelids से था, तो arthropods, mollusks, echinoderms, hemichordates, chordates, samastangara will have sexual reproduction only. If sexual reproduction रे again types are there. ठीक है, प्रथम जिनस वाला they can be monoecious or dioecious. They can be monoecious or dioecious. Now, what do you mean by monoecious, dioecious? Statosis is also an important feature of arthropods. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Okay. Why? Because, see, statosis basically are the structures that help in balancing. Okay. Now, different organisms have different forms of statosis. So, statosis is a basic term that we associate with an organ that helps in balancing. Now, ସବୁ organisms manakara statocyst thae, but you cannot call it a statocyst. In different organisms, you have different forms of statocyst. In the amora, ours is not a statocyst. Ours is a statoacoustic organ. Mane balancing madhya karibo and ଶୁଣିବାରେ ମଧ୍ୟ ସାହାଯ୍ୟ କରିବ. Listening. ବୁଝିଲା? Our ears are statoacoustic. Stato is balancing, acoustic is hearing. ठीक ଅଛି? तो सेमती अलगा ग्रुप्स रे, फॉर एग्जांपल तमे एटी आर्थ्रोपोड देखुछो, जेमती आमे कहबा से एकाइनोडर्म, ताकर मैड्रिपोराइट अछि. A madreporite is a structure that helps in the statosis along with the ambulacral system. तो सही बढ़िया statosis समस्तଙ୍କର ଥାଏ, but different forms. Clear? So statosis is not necessarily, always present or available. Okay? ठीक अछि. Oh. Now, as I was telling you, reproduction is ame kahiba. So basically, we have two categories. One is, here it is only sexual reproduction, remember? Only sexual reproduction. Now, sexual reproduction mode re ame ei duiti category paiba, that is monoecious and dioecious. Monoecious and dioecious. Now, monoecious implies male and female together. Means male organ, female organ, goti organism re achi. Both the male and female organs or structures are present in the same organism, then we can refer it to as monoecious. Fine. Dioecious, male and female reproductive structures present in separate organisms. In separate organisms. Remember this. ठीक अछि. तो सही हिसाब रे देखिले, the arthropods are dioecious. That is, clearly the male and female are two different organisms. बुझेला? And clearly distinguishable. As you can see, ये example है beetle का. यदि beetle देखो, male साइज में बड़ा है, अलग है, फीमेल अलग है. As you can see, present in males, absent in females. ठीक है जी. Then wing span, wing length, etc. etc. बहुत सारी variations आती है. सबुएले मेल बड़ा होगा, फीमेल साना होगा, ऐसा नहीं है. As you can, as you know, in case of certain insects like the Drosophila, melanogaster, এটা તમે बहुत commonly पढ़ियो fruit fly in second year genetics रे. ସେଥିରେ female is larger, male is smaller. प्राय तो देखा जाए तो females are larger compared to males. ठीक है, प्राय जगह रे. ओके, ठीक है जी. ना तो ये हो गया आपका mechanism of reproduction is sexual and you'll have dioecious forms of organisms. ठीक है जी. How? Therefore, since they're dioecious, they basically have to copulate. Why? Because male would contain the sperms, female will have the ova, and when the sperms and ova fuse, then only you can form the zygote through syngamy, fertilization. Now, either there can be no fertilization on the outside or fertilization can occur in the inside. Either body ଭିତରେ fertilization ହେଇପାରିବ କିମ୍ବା body ବାହାରେ ମଧ୍ୟ fertilization ହେଇପାରିବ. In case of insects, the fertilization is internal, means the arthropod, what it does, it copulates the female and inseminates, passes on the sperms into the female. Koti store over babu. There is a place which you call spermatheca. Spermatheca. Now, 80 बहुत important in search mon rakhibo. Spermatheca is a structure which is found in case of females. नाम में sperm में does not mean कि male में होगा. Spermatheca is a pouch-like structure which stores the sperms temporarily. ठीक है. So when the sperms are transferred from the male into the female, it is stored temporarily and then it passes on to fertilize the eggs. Okay? And then only the zygotes would be formed. Clear? Understood? Hope. Next point is they are oviparous. All arthropods are oviparous by egg laying. एमाने अंडा दिखाती. ठीक है. So fertilization हो गया. After the fertilization is done, then they wrap and form what? Simply eggs. ठीक है. Fertilized eggs. These fertilized eggs are either stored inside them or they are laid in different places and await hatching. Once hatched, then from them the larval forms will be coming out. Okay? Okay, we'll see that. Mostly oviparous or egg laying. Acha, one thing. And ये जो egg गुड़िको देई थांती, कोठु देई थांती. Yes, excretion occurs through malfusion tubules, correct? ठीक है. Fine. Now, eggs जो देई थांती, कोठ देई थांती. Yes, it is now referred to as the cloaca. It is a common structure that is linked with the excretory, the digestive, and the reproductive. A common structure which is connected to the excretory, the digestive, and the reproductive. तीनीटार combination को हमें cloaca कहता. Remember this. Okay? This is a very, very important thing that is called cloaca. Okay? So cloaca basically is the egg laying structure in case of insects, and the structure through which the eggs are laid are referred to as ovipositor. Okay? in तमे आगु को जाई पढ़िबो in case of cockroaches etc. the gonapophysis, ठीक है, titillator organs, ये सब आपको बाद में पढ़ने को मिलेगा, but that is not a part of this particular chapter, so I'm not going through it. ठीक है, fine. How? So mostly oviparous है, they have a cloaca, and the cloaca ends up in the ovipositor due to on the eggs गुड़िका lay करा है. Okay. Then development is either direct or indirect, mostly indirect. Development is mostly indirect, ठीक है जी, but it can be direct also in case of certain forms of arthropods. किछिटा arthropods रे direct development भी होता है, mostly arachnids मानो केस है, जेमती कि scorpions etc. है गले, ताको direct development दिखाई था, ठीक है जी, but insects मानो केस रे, crustaceans मानो केस रे, you have indirect development. Indirect development मानने कौन हो? ଯେତେବେଳେ fertilized eggs hatch କଲେ, fertilized eggs ଯେତେବେଳେ hatch କଲେ, then they liberate larvae, ସେଠୁ larvae ବାହାରିଲେ, ଏଇ larvae ଗୁଡିକ କଣ କରିବେ ନା, they'll continue to feed and then wrap around these structures. देखो जो एटी जो structure form ହେଇଛି, ଏଇଟାକୁ କୁହାଯାଇଥାଏ cocoon. It is referred to as a cocoon. And then once the cocoon is formed, ता भितर कौन चलला, लार्वा कौन तैयारी कला रे, cocoon तैयारी कला, ए cocoon टी कौन कला, yes, cocoon भितर कौन हैला ना, metamorphosis. Very important word, remember this, ठीक है. Metamorphosis is a process involving sequential steps in through which the larva undergoes molting. Larva undergoes molting to develop into an adult. बुझिपाल माने लार्वा टी तमे देखुछ कैटरपिलर भली आइछि, एइठु तमरो बटरफ्लाई बाहरिबो, एइठु तमरो ए बटरफ्लाई बाहरिबो, देखि पाछो ए बटरफ्लाई बाहरिबो. Once it will hatch from here, it will form a butterfly. Now you see, larva देखिए किपरी and butterfly देखने में कैसा है, so completely different है, completely different है. So this process through which the larval form changes into an adult form is known as metamorphosis. मन रखिबो, ठीक अछि, very important. And from metamorphosis molting कला परे से adult form कला. You'll understand this molting also. It is also there in the cockroach part. ठीक है, उसमें आप देखोगे, because cockroach is not there in your NCERT syllabus, but NTA syllabus रे अच्छी as of 2026 examination. NTA syllabus रे cockroach is present. तो लिखा है कि वो cockroach, the larval form, that is nymph, undergoes total 13 moltings कला परे से adult cockroach टी ହେଇଥାଏ ବା form ହେଇଥାନ୍ତି. Okay, fine, but age insert बुझो metamorphosis. All larval forms undergo metamorphosis such that they develop into adults, and this process is called metamorphosis. Okay, and remember one thing, larval forms and adult forms are clearly different in appearance. Clearly different in appearance. There is no similarity between them. Okay? Okay. Now you see. So basically, यदि हमें कहबा हमरो arthropods मानकर unique features कौन कौन अछि? Unique features मतलब what is the special attributes of the arthropods. ठीक है, देखो ध्यान से. In case of arthropods, as you can see, they have jointed appendages. Because of that only you call them arthropods. And arthros mane hela joints, hikochi, and podos mane hela legs. So jointed legs painki we call them arthropods. Body is divisible into 3 regions, but 3 segments. अच्छा एठी गोटे very important point मन रखियो mark करिवो and keep this in your heads, that is the segmentation which you see is case of arthropods is external segmentation. External segmentation. Amo case it is internal segmentation. Only in case of annelida, only in case of annelida, you'll have both external and internal segmentation. Seithipai taku metamerism or true form of metamerism or segmentation kuha jaita hai. Kana bahare bhi bhitar bhi segmentation hoता है. Amo case में only internal segmentation is there. इनके case में only external segmentation is there. बुझेला मन रखियो. Then entire body is covered by exoskeleton. Exoskeleton matlab the skeleton that covers the outer part of the body is known as exoskeleton. तो आंखों exoskeleton में कौन होला? Chitin. Exoskeleton is basically chitin. Chitin टी कौन हो मने अछि? Yes, N-acetyl glucosamine. NAG. N-acetyl glucosamine is the polymer of, okay, of the chitin which forms the body or the exoskeleton. Okay. Excretion in case of the arthropods is basically through Malpighian tubules. Malpighian tubules. Okay. They help in excretion and normal anchor excretion कौन होता है? They are either ammonotelic माने अमोनिया बाहर करथांती को केस रे ना aquatic arthropods रे. Similarly, they can excrete urea in case of terrestrial forms and in certain forms even uric acid. So they can be ammonotelic, they can be ureotelic, they can be uricotelic. तीनोटी जाको जिनसे देखा जाए परिवार को केस रे. Ammono भी दिख सकता है, यूरियो भी दिख सकता है, यूरिको भी दिख सकता है. Hence, all three can be seen, and all the three mechanisms involve the one thing, that is Malpighian tubules. मन रखियो. Okay. So कोआगला the कोचरागला the excretory organ by structure of the arthropods is Malpighian tubules. ठीक है. Then सेंसरी ऑर्गन्स आर एंटीने. ए डिमार्क करो. आप जो स्टैटोसिस बोल रहे थे यहाँ पे मिलेगा आपको. देखो सेंसरी ऑर्गन्स आर एंटीने, कंपाउंड आईज, सिंपल आईज. ठीक है. कंपाउंड आईज है कौन मिलरेटी, कौन मिलरेटी. इन केस ऑफ कंपाउंड आईज ओमाटिडिया, ओमाटिडिया. आ जोगु तांकर कौन अछि ना कंपाउंड विजन. Compound vision. So basically they have compound vision because of the compound eyes. Compound इसलिए बोला आता है because they have several small pixels in their eyes. ठीक ଅଛି. तो तांकर इमेज टी कोवली दिसिबो जैसे जिक्सॉ पजल का एक सेट है. छोटिया छोटिया पीस जोड़ा है कि गोटा बड़ो इमेज टी हेतिबो. That is known as jigsaw puzzle. तो इनका विजन वैसा दिखेगा. Hence, इनको compound eyes बोला जाता है. Compound eyes are not very efficient eyes. Why? Because they do not have a very efficient high resolution vision. Kintu they are highly sensitive to light. Light ପାଇଁ ki very sensitive. Detect କରି परिवे light very efficiently. Kintu vision टी बहुत कम. ठीक है. So they are more sensitive to light but less in terms of vision. तो ये याद रखिएगा. ठीक है. Then comes statosis. They help in balancing. So statosis are the structures that act as balance organs which help them in balancing of the body. ठीक है. Fine. Okay. Now, if you look at the examples or categories, okay, of the arthropods, as you can see here, ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ classify କରୁଛେ, ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ classify କରୁଛେ, yes, absolutely correct. Fungal cell wall, jaha chitin, nag is the same thing. In fact, fungal cell wall जोटा कौच ताकू fungal cellulose मध्य कही थांती. Okay, शाबाश, very good. ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे क्लासिफिकेशन जेता हमें करूचे तो हमें तीनों टी कैटेगरीज रे टोटल नो एंटायर आर्थ्रोपोड को क्लासिफाई करूचे. मींस the phylum Arthropoda is classified into three classes. Classified into three classes. ठीक है. The biggest one is class Insecta. Class Insecta. ठीक है. Then comes the class Crustacea. Class Crustacea. And finally, the class Arachnida. ठीक है. Insect are all forms of insects will be included. जैसे आपकी mosquitoes हो गए, ठीक है, housefly Musca domestica, getting it. Then the butterflies, beetles, ठीक है, dragonflies, wasps, honeybee or Apis mellifera, Apis indicus, ठीक है, Apis rosea, all these come under insects. Then in case of crustaceans, you'll have all the aquatic ones. That's it. Palimon, crabs, ठीक है, lobsters, fine, limulus, they all come under crustaceans. Then comes the arachnida, spiders and scorpion. ठीक है, spider and scorpion. Fine. Even as you can see, ये जो दिख रहा है आपको, this is a very unique one. इसको क्या बोला जाता है? It is called a silver fish. Silver fish. Now, नाम silver fish है, but it is not actually a fish. ठीक है? Understood? So you remember this. It is called silver fish. Silver fish is actually what? An insect. It is not a fish. Remember this. This question has been asked many a times in exams. ठीक है? And then आपकी ये हो गई basically insects, crustaceans and arachnids. Total 3 classes of the entire phylum Arthropoda. ठीक है? Then इनमें in terms of other features, they may also have several other important aspects. जैसे यहाँ देखो, they can be economically important. ठीक है, economically important how? Say for instance, the apis, that is the honeybee. It helps in formation of the honey, yes, as well as the beeswax. But ये दुईटे जिनिस तो सबको पता है that honeybee make honey and beeswax, fine, that is paraffin. But the most important thing that the honeybees do is, without honeybees, our crop management will be impossible. Because honeybees are one of the greatest pollinators. तो जितनी को हम crops etc. अच्छी से माने pollinate हेलने से ना fertilize हेलने से ना crops will be produced. So without them ये impossible हो जाएगा. Therefore honeybees are one of the most important part of the entire crop management system. ठीक है? Then you see the Bombyx mori, that is the silk moth. What it does, it provides silk. ठीक है? Through its larvae, that is the cocoon. ठीक है? Then Lacifer laca, it is the lac insect. जो झूना तुम्हें देखुछ, yes? तो झूनाटा होची lac, ଗୋଟେ form. These, they secrete the salivary, products. उनकी use से you'll find that lac. ठीक है? Then they can be disease causing, spread diseases. They are vectors to several diseases. For example, the Anopheles, it helps in the, it is a very, dangerous one. Why? Because it, spreads malaria, Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium malariae. all pathogens को एमाने ट्रांसफर करता है क्यूलेक्स एडिस एजिप्टी डेंगू चिकुनगुनिया फाइलेरिया इनको स्प्रेड करता है हाउस फ्लाई डायरिया डिसेंट्री कोलेरा टाइफॉइड ये सब स्प्रेड करता है ठीक है बाय बीइंग अ वेक्टर टू साल्मोनेला टाइफी द शिजेला एटसेट्रा ठीक है ग्रेगेरियस पेस्ट मतलब कॉलोनियल पेस्ट जो माने बेसिकली कॉलोनीज एटसेट्रा रे झुंड रही थांती एकाठी रही थांती सो दैट इज नोन एज ग्रेगेरियस तो दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट याद रखिएगा लोकस्ट is an example of gregarious insect that live together in colonies. You'll find wherever the news में आपने सुना होगा every year you'll find that the northern parts of India, especially Rajasthan and Punjab, Haryana region, city, every year the locusts come in swarms. And millions and millions of locusts come in swarms and destroy crops and go. Understood? That's why they are gregarious. ठीक है? Then living fossil Racilla lemulus or the king crab. Living fossil का अर्थ क्या होता है? Those animals that have originated a long time ago. That means, for example, lemulus यदि हमें कहवा, इसकी origin कब की है? Dinosaur मतलब आपकी Triassic and Jurassic period रू ही इमाने अच्छी Triassic and Jurassic period रू एमाने अच्छी कि lemulus अच्छी ठीक है and still जिंदा है and available in the wild hence known as living fossil because एमानों को use करेगी उनको features को study करेगी we can easily understand the kind of life which was present in those days or those time periods right hence they are known as living fossil it provides an understanding about the environment in those times. It helps us in providing what other animals existed in that time. Then we can study the DNA structures of these organisms and understand their living methods, their mutations, their natural selections, evolution, so many things. Hence, the living fossil. Ujela. Fossil mane the archaeological remains, preserved remains that are excavated from the ground or any other preserved site. But living fossil mane still bonchi but they have originated a long time ago. Clear? Okay. तो ये summarization हो गया. We can see that organ system level of organization, bilateral symmetry है, triploblastic है, coelomates, ठीक है. They are cosmopolitan in their habitats. Then they have a complete form of digestive system. Respiratory system is direct ठीक है gills lungs आपकी book gills book lungs as well as the spiracles and trachea are the respiratory system components तापरे circulatory system को आसिला open type of circulation is there ठीक है which includes sinuses and hearts reproduction basically it can be it's mostly sexual reproduction only organisms are either monoecious or dioecious ठीक है but some most of them are dioecious in nature most of them are dioecious in nature fertilization is internal in nature then development is indirect some cases might be direct in case of arachnids okay unique features rejointed appendage head thorax abdomen external exoskeleton which is made up of chitin ठीक है then they are economically very beneficial fine economic importance is very very high clear है fine तो ये हो गया आपका Arthropoda chapter done our today's edition of the class is complete now does anyone have any questions or doubts you may ask else we can wrap this thing up yes ठीक है चलो बच्चा लोग classes regularly attend karo I see the strength declining people not attending classes ये classes अगर आप attend नहीं करेंगे तो problem is that कि ये जो effort हमें दो for you people audio visuals दिखा के आपको पढ़ाते हैं these are very very effort taking activities. So effort ete koragola, but effort or productivity asilani, suppose you do not attend the classes. Hence I request all of you, please be sincere, because you are now just in 11th standard. Okay, so 11th standard tiku aguku nabo properly padibo, then prospects will be very high. In a single attempt you can cross the NEET or JEE examinations, and your future will be secure. Ikochi, chalo, with this message, hope you all have enjoyed this session. See you next time. Okay, chaliye, take care of yourself. Good day.